From Las Vegas, where spectacle meets the spectacular, came a raising of the bar. Last year's World Series of Poker set the gold standard for excitement.
That's how you got balls, baby.
Capped by an ending so improbable, the name Moneymaker said it all. But that was just one event. The World Series of Poker is just that, a series. A grueling 5-week-long collection of tournaments where legends are made and millions get paid.
Oh, man.
From all walks of life they come, the world's greatest players competing on the game's greatest stage.
10, 7, yeah!
Oh, look at that hand.
That's what I'm talking about! 33 tournaments, nearly $50 million at stake, a non-stop poker odyssey.
I went all in and I survived.
This is the World Series of Poker. From the Horseshoe Casino, welcome to the 2004 World Series of Poker, presented by Miller High Life. Even before a hand was played, history was made. A record-setting 834 players entered this first tournament. Their inspiration, the Gallery of Champions' newest member, Chris Moneymaker. His win last year sent the electrifying message that anyone can win.
Welcome to the 35th Annual World Series of Poker. Please shuffle up and deal the cards now.
On opening day, it took but 9 minutes for the first player to be eliminated.
Pretty boy Floyd, I'm taking an early exit.
And then a grueling 18 hours more for the field of 834 to whittle itself down to the final 9.
Next time.
Wow.
Some legends fell, like Johnny Chan and Doyle Brunson.
That's poker, that's where it goes.
And Sam Farha, runner-up to Moneymaker last year.
That's very unlucky cigarette. I better change it already. Find another one.
Moneymaker himself did not play in this event, but his impact was everywhere. The Moneymaker effect in full effect here at the first tournament of the World Series of Poker. Hello, everybody. I'm Lon McCarran alongside Norman Chad, and the ever-growing popularity of the sport of poker nowhere more evident than at our final table here in our very first event.
Yeah, Lon, we have a lot of internet whiz kids and baby faces showing up. 4 of them are at the final table tonight, including our chip leader, 24-year-old James Vogl.
And there is James Vogl from London, a very accomplished backgammon player, only been playing this game a couple of years, though.
Brian Havison, second in chips today, has become a very accomplished tournament player over the last couple of years. And here's a guy who's been playing at this level for a long time, one of the world-class players and the guy to fear here today, David Chiu.
There you see a very crowded final table, 9 players as the cards are in the air. David Chiu on the left there. He will fold, as will JC Tran. Action over to our chip leader, and the first look at our Miller High Life pocket cam and pocket aces for our leader.
And a good morning wake-up for James Vogl.
Of course, he'll bet at $24,000 now to Brian Havison. And Kings right behind Vogel's aces. Wow.
Well, the second best hand in Hold'em, but unfortunate when the best hand in Hold'em is sitting right in front of you, and he is going to raise.
Another 80,000.
Lon, this is like one of those horror movies where you know if the person opens that door, there's disaster lurking on the other side.
The percentage next to the player's name is the probability they will have the best hand at the end. The table folds over to our chip leader, James Vogl.
There's no real decision here for Vogl. He's got to go all in.
James Vogel's going to go all in, and actually with that, he'll put Brian Havison all in if Havison decides to play.
I call.
And Havison is going to do exactly that.
This is just worst-case scenario for Havison. He's second in chips, but he's going up against a chip leader who can knock him out of the tournament.
Havison flips over the kings, and then Vogl one-ups him.
Good luck. Good luck.
Well, Brian Havison is going to need a king to stay alive in this tournament.
Here's the flop. It is 3, 10, and 2. No help.
Yeah, that door is shutting on him. A king and a king only.
Turn card. 4 of clubs. And now Brian Havison needs a king or he will be eliminated from this Hold'em tournament. And the river card, a 2 of hearts. It's not going to do it. James Vogl wins the hand, eliminating Brian Havison. Ninth place, a check for just over $30,000.
Didn't take much skill. Wow. It's an easy game, huh?
Well, it is if you know the rules of Texas Hold'em. Here are the Miller High Life rules for Texas Hold'em. Each player is first dealt 2 down cards. A round of betting then occurs as players decide for the first time if they're in or they're out. Then come the community cards with the flop, the turn, and the river with a round of betting after each. In the end, the best 5-card combination wins the hand and takes the pot. James Vogl is the newbie at this table, just like Chris Moneymaker was last year in the main event. And just like Moneymaker, the newcomer here is having a big impact at the table.
Yeah, he's 24 years old, and frankly, I don't like 24-year-olds.
Anthony Lelouch from Paris, France. First time at a final table, first World Series of Poker. Jack 4.
I raised.
He's going to raise the big blind. David Chiu now. King, which a moment ago were rags for Brian Havison.
Well, these are closer to riches.
33.
David Chiu began the day as a second lowest stack.
Come on.
He wants more right now.
He didn't have many chips left. I don't think there's any doubt he was going to go all in with that one, and there's very little doubt that this hand's going to continue. But Lelouch doesn't have to put that much more in, but he's going to call, and what does he know? He's only 23.
Well, Lelouch in French means the sneaky one, so he may know something.
I don't like it. I want to hit
He doesn't like it. I'd already be spending the money in the pot with King against Jack 4 offsuit.
Here's the flop, 3-7-10.
Lelouch's best hope is running jacks now, and I don't know if Chiu is still worried. He shouldn't be.
And it's a queen of spades, and actually the check mark next to David Chiu tells you he has won this hand. River cards, a 4 of diamonds. David Chiu doubles up, and this table's most experienced player has just gained some strength.
JC Tran is all in. He's going to need a king or he's going to be eliminated. Last card is a 10. JC Tran finishes in 8th place. Give him a
There is tournament director Matt Savage bidding farewell to our 8th place finisher JC Tran. He will take home over $46,000 in winnings. He was knocked out by Carl Fromer. Fromer with 280,000 chips right now, as you can see on our Toyota chip count. James Vogl with an overwhelming lead. David Chiu in 6th place. A lot of work to do for him.
I'm telling you, though, Lon, it's a crime for a 24-year-old who's not even shaven yet to have that many chips.
Okay, your first trip from London? Huh? Your first trip from London, from USA? We treat you like the king.
Tuan Nguyen welcoming James Vogl to America. They're already treating him like a king, bringing him plenty of riches.
Well, if they're going to treat him like a king, he ought to dress like a king.
Well, if he wins today, he'll be able to dress any way he wants to. And while they're treating him like a king ace, even better.
Yeah, and I think we're going to be seeing more of him in the future if he keeps getting ace-king suited.
30,000.
30,000 is the best.
He could push harder, too, I think, if he wanted, don't you think, at this point?
Sometimes you push a little, sometimes you push a lot. You kind of mix it up.
Now to Lelouch with a couple of queens.
Well, we saw him play Jack 4 like they were a couple of queens, so let's see if he plays a couple of queens like a couple of queens.
I got it.
Anthony's going all in here.
So Anthony Lelouch now will push it all in. Charlie Schoten folds.
And the queen's a good hand to go all in with.
Is it to me?
Yes.
Ah, cool.
James Vogel's going to waste no time in calling it.
And here's a great heads-up match between these two sets of cards.
You see the percentage is very even right now before the flop.
Good look.
And here comes the flop. 9-5 ace, and Vogl pairs his ace.
And that is tragic for Lelouch. He now falls behind. He's going to be out of this tournament unless he can pick up a queen.
It's a 7 on the turn. No good for Lelouch.
And he is still waiting for a queen, else he is out of here.
And this could be his final card. It's a 9 of clubs. It is his final card. Anthony Lelouch, the student from Paris, France, will finish in 7th place, eliminated by James Vogl, who's finding a lot of success with his new poker skills.
It's my second game. Backgammon's, I'm better at backgammon.
I started playing poker about 2 years ago. I used to just play backgammon. It's my best game. I'm considered sort of a world-class player. 10,000, that's cool. I haven't been enjoying poker because I haven't been doing that great. And I thought I'd be better at poker than I am by now, after 2 years. And I still don't think I play well. The thing I've learned out here, when I watch some of the great players like Phil Ivey and Howard Lederer, they're so focused at the table. And they can just maintain it for hour upon hour, and the intensity is so great. Whereas, I find it very difficult. I have to get up and take breaks and sort of have a drink. I got ace high, but I feel like calling this. Just hit so many cards in the last day and a half that anyone could have won it, really. So it'd be nice if I win. But I don't think I deserve it because there's so many better players out there.
James Vogl will learn very quickly you don't turn down money however it comes your way. He may be changing his mind about poker, too. Backgammon could be taking a back seat. And you look at what happened. Only an ace-6.
Well, an ace-6 still is good enough for him to bet 24,000.
And the table will fold over to David Chiu, 3 World Series bracelets. And he's got ace-king.
And he's short-stacked, and he's all in.
And he's all in with just about 100,000 chips. So once again, David Chiu, our most experienced player here, at risk of going out. Now over to Tuan Nguyen with 2 7s. And he will go all in.
Tuan Nguyen's moving all in.
James Vogl now.
Thinking.
Here's a thought. Fold your hand, save your money, and buy a new sweatsuit. He's had 2 people go all in front of him. There's just no way he should be calling this bet.
And he folds it. And so now we're going to go heads up, David Chiu, Tuan Nguyen, and it's Tuan Nguyen who is all in. If he loses, he'll be out of the tournament. And he's trying to take David Chiu's chips just a bit early.
They'll have to play it out.
I thought you were a big ace and he's a player.
I don't want to lose.
I don't want to give you chips.
When I'm in traffic court, I do the same thing he does.
Okay, here comes the flop. It is 2, 4, 6. There's no help for either player, particularly David Chiu. There's no diamond, no club, no ace, no king. Here's a 3 of hearts on the turn.
Chiu's still looking for an ace or a king to knock out Nguyen.
And Nguyen doesn't even want to look. Here's the river card. It's a 10.
Yes.
David Chiu pretending to win the hand on the river. But in fact, Tuan Nguyen takes a nice pot from his friend and doubles up on David Chiu. That was cruel.
Thank you, dealer, very much.
33 separate tournaments will be held during the 2004 World Series, and at the outer tables today, day 1 of 7 card stud, and among the star-studded field is Jennifer Harman.
She is one of the world's top players, but hasn't played much recently because of severe kidney problems. She's scheduled to have a kidney transplant by the end of the World Series, but while she waits, she plans on playing as many tournaments as her health permits.
A big source of support for Harman has been her best friend, 2-time bracelet winner Daniel Negreanu.
Like Harman, Negreanu is one of the world's best players, and he's in the middle of a career year both in tournaments and side games. Regardless of the game or the stakes, if he's in the field, he'll be one of the favorites.
Also playing stud, one of last year's sensations, Dutch Boyd.
Boyd attended college when he was 12. Now 24, he's joined this year by a group of friends who call themselves the Crew. They've pledged to take over the poker world.
That's what I started out with.
For all the players this year, there's more at stake than money and the coveted World Series bracelet. They're also vying for the Toyota Player of the Year award, given to the player with the best overall performance during the 33 tournaments. Among the favorites for the award, Min Win.
I wanted number one so bad.
Better known as Min the Master, he's poker's comic relief. But behind the silliness is a man with 6 World Series titles.
Nice hand, sir.
Look for him to enter almost every event and be a threat in each.
That's why I'm the master.
For competition, the master need look no further than his apprentice, Min Win, who won a bracelet last year and has a knack for finishing in the money. But this year, it's not the cash he's after.
Money comes and goes. I dream of winning bracelets more than money.
The pro other pros fear most is Phil Ivey. Last year, a bad beat from Chris Moneymaker eliminated him in the main event. In his first World Series event of 2004, he came oh so close again, finishing 14th.
I'm a little disappointed, in the result, but it's about 30 more tournaments left. I'm sure, I'll do a little better next time.
No final table, but Ivey did collect valuable Toyota Player of the Year points. Almost 1 million chips now for our leader, James Vogl.
It's a battle for second, I guess.
Why is that?
He got over 900,000 in chips.
I was in a satellite with a guy. He had 2 $25 chips, and I had $49.50 in chips, and he beat me.
Same thing happened to me, Lon, in my first marriage, only I ended up with 2 $25 chips.
They called Charlie Shoten Scotty Warbucks for, obvious reasons. You look at his hair, or lack thereof. He's got King 10 and all in. And our almost $1 million man, James Vogl, with a Jack 10.
I don't think Shoten wants anybody to call him with a King 10 offsuit. He'd just like to take it home right now.
Well, Vogl will call it. And the chip leader may be trying to muscle out Charlie Shoten. Over to Shawn Rice. Nice cards.
They're not as nice when you have an all-in in front of you and someone's called the all-in. So ace-jack is not as strong in this position.
I'm all in.
I stand corrected.
I hope you got a hand there.
Rice does have a better hand. Vogl just a bit perturbed that he's put chips into a pot he's probably not going to play.
And he will not play. He does fold. We'll go heads up. Shoten and Rice with the advantage 2-1 on Charlie Shoten, who is all in.
I wasn't in good shape against these hands.
The flop is 3 ace 7, 2 aces for Shawn Rice, and look at that percentage for Charlie Shoten.
Yeah, he's quickly going to need some kings or tens to start falling out of this deck to stay in this tournament.
Here comes the turn card, Queen of Clubs.
And now Shoten can stay alive if he gets a jack on the river to make a straight, but only a jack keeps him alive.
And 2 jacks already used in this hand. It's a 3 of diamonds. Shawn Rice wins the hand. Charlie Shoten from Los Angeles, California, eliminated here. 67 years old. He'll take 5th place and $76,000.
Just in your mind, let's be sure you've got another 3 or 4 hours yet. I haven't been stealing. No, I know. What I'm saying is you've got another 3 hours work.
Geez, I hope we're not here another 3 hours. I got Engelbert Humperdinck tickets tonight.
Front and center, I am sure. There is our Toyota chip count. James Vogl still near $1 million. David Chiu, our short stack.
Vogl has more chips than the rest of the table combined right now.
30.
And he will bet 30,000 of them with his King Jack. Shawn Rice next. He will fold. Carl Frommer from Los Angeles, mostly a cash game player, will fold as well. Over to David Chiu, and he's got ace 10.
Not passing, my friend. Not passing. It's all going in.
Vogl trying to discourage Chiu from going all in, telling him, I will call you if you do it.
And for a player like David Chiu, that might just light a fire under him.
Well, actually, any table talk sometimes potentially can be misconstrued, and indeed, Chiu may be getting disturbed at some of James' little comments.
But right now, David Chiu, the short stack at the table. James Vogl, the top stack at the table, but Chiu will call it. And here comes the flop. It's 9-4 king. 2 kings for James Vogl.
Chiu checks. And Vogl checks, maybe a little inexperienced there. I believe if he bet, he might have been able to take down the pot right there.
Chiu needs an ace, and he got it on the turn. And talk about a switch of percentages. David Chiu now the overwhelming favorite, and he will go all in.
How much?
Yeah, Chiu not pausing at all, and he does have the best hand now. He's correct to go all in.
65,000 is the bet.
So David Chiu with another great opportunity to double up on the chip leader.
You know, I'm not sure why Vogl checked on the flop when he had the kings, and I'm not sure why he'd really be calling here. But then again, Lon, I'm often not sure about a lot of things.
And we're sure you're not at the final table.
That is a certainty.
Cool.
He decides to call.
It will cost him 65,000 chips.
Yeah, ace-8.
Kings over here, ace 10.
Well, I think a couple mistakes here for Vogl. Of course, I think he should have bet on the flop, and now that mistake led to this, where he shouldn't have called this all-in bet. And now he needs a king or a jack to bail himself out.
And it is a 6 of clubs. David Chiu survives another all-in. James Vogl takes a hit, albeit a minor one, but he wants to avoid giving chips to such a strong player like David Chiu at all cost.
I made a great read before with the king. The only way I can lose the pot is disgusting.
The veteran has the newcomer talking to himself.
The World Series of Poker presented by Miller High Life.
We are down to 5 players here at our first championship event of 33 at the 2004 World Series of Poker. James Vogl, our chip leader, and he's squeezing what looks to be a king-9 offsuit.
24.
And he'll bet 24,000. Seems like such a small amount next to what he has in the bank there.
But I like his style. He usually acts pretty decisively, and I'm starting to warm up to the kid.
Shawn Rice will fold. Over to Carl Frommer. He will get out of the hand. Now, David Chiu, who is quickly turning into James Vogl nemesis. And a queen king. And he'll call it. So we'll go two-handed to the flop. Vogl and Chiu once again. The flop, queen, 9-7. 2 9s for Vogl, 2 queens for Chiu.
Yeah, they both get a piece of it, and that's better news for Chiu. And if he bets, chances are Vogl might think about playing this pot with the middle pair.
I'm all in.
And as Chiu is putting his bet in, I'm stunned. James Vogl says I'm all in, which would put David all in. He's putting them all in with just a pair of 9s. I'm kind of surprised with this aggressive play. Now, Chiu's got a decision to make. He's got the best hand right now, but when you're sitting there for the rest of your chips, you don't know if the other guy's got pocket aces, pocket kings, an ace-queen beats you. A lot of hands can beat you.
Come on, David, I left you off 3 times. Stick them in. I'll let you off it 3 times. I can't have it anymore. I like you, but this is just a joke. Stick them in.
I'm not sure if he's trying to get Chiu to fold or to call.
David Chiu's a man with his own strong mind, and he's going all in.
You know, I'm still confused, stunned, dazed by the fact that James Vogl would go in with those pair of 9s, the middle pair, and now he seems a little taken aback by the situation.
And now here comes the turn. It's an ace of hearts. Vogl needs 9s.
Looking for a 9 here.
He said what?
He said he thought he was suited. And here comes the 8 of clubs. David Chiu takes the hand from James Vogl, who said he thought he was suited at the top, I believe.
That actually would make sense, Lon, because he would be playing 2 clubs.
I thought I had king-9 of clubs.
So he would have had a flush draw.
I made a mistake. I tell you, against this man, I have to think about it.
The River Club would have won it for Vogl, but his chips end up with a seasoned pro.
My name is David Chiu, and I'm 43 years old. I'm from China.
David Chiu is clearly the world-class player that's at the table. I gotta fold this only because I can't take this much stress in such a short period of time.
I win quite a few bracelets. I won 3 of them.
David Chiu, great player, awesome player. A lot of respect for him.
I have 2 titles of Lynn Hold'em.
He's very tough player, and I'm very scared.
Maybe just my reputation.
Even I have a pocket aces. I raise, but I still scared.
Well, David Chiu scares a lot of people, and one of them is our chip leader, James Vogl, who has learned very quickly to respect David Chiu.
You should learn to respect your elders, and I'd like to emphasize once again that Vogl might be, what, 14, 15 years old?
I think he shaved once. I'm not sure. Shawn Rice with pocket nines.
36.
And we'll raise the big blind, 36,000. Carl Frommer not going to play. David Chiu looking at queen 3.
Suited, and he's already partially into the pot because he is the big blind. So he might think about coming in.
And he will, indeed. Heads up, Rice and Chiu. Rice with the advantage right now, and here comes the flop. Oh, and it's huge. 2 more nines for Shawn Rice. His Texan is doing a two-step under the table.
Yeah, but he looks like he's just waiting for the results of a blood test to come back, which is the way to play this. When you have the best hand that can't be beat, you hope your opponent eventually makes a hand or makes a bet, and right now he's going to get David Chiu to make a bet. David's taking a stab at this pot with a bluff.
And Rice will just call it back to him.
You know, you're sitting at home and you figure you got 4 nines, and why don't you just push all your chips in? But you can make more money by sitting back and just hoping your opponent develops a hand. And here's a pair of 3s for David Chiu. Not much. He had bluffed at this once. Let's see if he's going to take another stab at this pot right here.
Well, David Chiu has been on a big roll. He went from 95,000 to almost 400,000 in 2 hands, and he does not want to waste that stack right here.
And this time he checks. He thinks the better of it. And right behind him, Shawn Rice checks, hoping the river card helps Chiu.
It's an ace of spades on the river.
No help for David Chiu. He just has a pair of 3s.
He checks. Now Shawn Rice, how is he going to play the big fish?
105.
I don't know where he got that number from. I like the 5 line. It's like a sales tax. But he's trying to put in the bet that he thinks he has a chance of getting called. David Chiu only has 3s, but he might think that Rice is just making a play, bluffing as if the ace helped him, and doesn't actually have a hand.
And he is going to call it about a quarter of his chips. And there are the 4 nines for everyone to see.
Oh, and Chiu, the consummate pro, misread his opponent, who played that one beautifully throughout. Chiu had no idea that he had that type of hand.
Shawn Rice is our new chip leader, almost 700,000. And for David Chiu, after 2 big leaps forward, well, it's all nearly nullified by Shawn Rice's quad 9s.
The World Series of Poker presented by Miller High Life.
Back at Buyin's Horseshoe, and a big stack in front of our chip leader, Shawn Rice.
Looks like I'm going to have to pick a hand pretty soon.
Not a lot in front of Carl Frommer.
I love watching these guys play, Alon, but I'm already stoked waiting for the $10,000 buy-in main event we have come up in a few weeks.
And Shawn Rice will be the first to act. Collecting a lot of royalty these days, is he? Ace-Queen. He'll bet over to Frommer with a couple of jacks. It might be a good hand for him to do what he says.
All in.
Yeah, if you're going to have to pick a hand, there's a lot worse to pick than that. Pretty good hand to go all in with.
So now the decision will go back to Shawn Rice, our chip leader from Lubbock, Texas. 37 years old, looking for his first bracelet here at the World Series of Poker. His best finish was in Omaha, 8 or better, so still looking for a top spot. He'll need 49,000 to call.
I call.
And he will call.
And the 2 overcards for Shawn Rice against Frommer's pocket jacks.
Right now, Frommer, a bit of a lead as we go to the flop. And there's a queen, 2 queens for Shawn Rice. Boy, can he pull them.
Immediate bad news for Frommer. He's now going to need a jack or 2 running diamonds to stay alive.
The turn card's another queen for Rice. Frommer thinks it's over, but actually a jack will steal the pot for him. River card's an 8, so it's official. Carl Frommer eliminated in 5th place. About $92,000 will be his prize as he goes away. And Shawn Rice able to add to his chip lead.
My name is Shawn Rice. I'm from Lubbock, Texas, and I'm 37 years old.
Shawn Rice, double up.
I haven't had a job since about 22. I've mainly just played poker, really. I grew up in Amarillo with Amarillo Slim was in my home game.
I'm sorry, man. You met my sister that deals? Thank you. He watched me a lot of hours, and that was one of his failings.
You can't help but learn from somebody like that.
You got somebody over there you don't like, send them over here. These guys will break him in a hurry.
He's just a genius. His mind's a genius when it comes to gambling.
If he makes a bet at you, you bet it all, with a hand or without a hand.
I'm all in.
He can run without the ball. That boy doesn't have to have a hand to bet.
Ooh, what a bluff. I could hear his heart pumping from over here.
As far as being scared, I'm not scared of anyone, but I respect them all. These people can play. So that's it, boys. Back to kings and queens.
He's with it. This won't be the last time you'll hear from him.
Well, Shawn Rice could have a lot worse mentors than Amarillo Slim, boy.
There's a lot you can always learn from Amarillo Slim. Hey, look at James Vogl on. He's taking his jacket off. I guess he's getting ready to go on his paper route.
Oh, he's throwing a lot of chips, maybe not a lot of paper. A couple of fives, and he'll bet $40,000. Over to the chip leader, Shawn Rice, Queen 7. Shakes his head, doesn't like it.
What happened?
Vogl seems surprised that Rice is finally sitting out a hand.
David Chiu throws in his cards as well. Now over to Tuan Nguyen.
And Jack 9 suited.
I call.
So Tuan Nguyen will call the $40,000 from James Vogl.
And we got pretty much of a coin flip here. The pair of fives against the suited overcards.
And here comes the flop. It's ace, 10, and 6, and does give Nguyen a club draw.
Fives are still ahead. And after Nguyen checks,
$100,000 from James Vogl.
Well, James says that he's going to put Nguyen all in if he wants to call this.
And he will call, and Tuan Nguyen now risking everything on his club draw right now.
It's only a draw, but it's a pretty good draw with the overcards.
And turn is a 10 of diamonds.
That actually helps Nguyen, because now he can get a club that's not a 5, or a Jack 9 or ace would give him a higher 2 pair than James Vogl.
He needs this one. It's a queen of diamonds. Not good enough for Tuan Nguyen. James Vogl wins the hand, and Tuan Nguyen, 4th place, $105,000. And James Vogl gets some of his chips back. He's up to about $580,000.
I like him.
We have 3 players remaining here.
Man, there's no hugging in poker, although I'm not sure that qualifies.
James with.
So it will be 3-handed James Vogl, Shawn Rice, and David Chiu fighting for the championship. On the outer tables, action continues in day 1 of the 7-card stud tournament. Event number 3 of 33 here, and there's Chris Ferguson, the man known as Jesus. It's been a rough start so far for one of the favorites in the Toyota Player of the Year award. He's 0 for 2. Jesus busted out early in Hold'em and didn't last too much longer in the stud game, but that just gives him more time to practice one of his many other talents, which is the subject of our wacky look at poker. It's a segment we like to call The Nuts. Last year, we saw Jesus throw a card 78 miles per hour. How fast is that? Fast enough to slice a banana in half. But now comes his greatest challenge, a pickle. Coming up on future episodes of The Nuts, produce. There you see the $400,000 and gold bracelet that will go to the winner of this final table, Shawn Rice, the chip leader. And just a while ago, he said this was a race for second, and that's when James Vogl had almost 1 million chips. Well, I'm sure Shawn would love just a race for second now. He's got ace-6.
36.
And he's going to raise on the button, so he's in position and maybe take down the pot right here.
David Chiu with a suited king-8.
And he's in the small blind, so he's in partially for the pot right now. He's considering coming in for the whole raise.
And he will do that. Over to James Vogl.
And a similar position, he actually has 2 suited cards that are straightening, and he's in the big blind, so he's partially into the pot. And he's putting some chips out there, and he will call the raise from Shawn Rice.
Shawn Rice right now, the minor advantage. And here comes the flop. 5-4 queen. Doesn't do a lot for all these guys.
No, whole lot of nothing. Whole lot of nothing. Just check around. I mean, these are just 3 hands just wandering through the desert looking for some water.
Well, they don't really find much of it there with a 7 of hearts.
At this point, whoever bets first probably can win this pot. They're all just on a draw. There's a heart draw for Vogl, straight draws for Chiu and Rice. Not much going on.
And David Chiu will bet almost 100,000, so he'll test your theory on betting first and winning the hand.
That's a big bet with very little in his hand.
Now action over to James Vogl, with the chip leader behind him.
200,000.
200,000.
He is on a heart draw, and there's no way that Rice can play, even though ace high right now is the best. And now generally, David Chiu, if you bluff at the pot and someone comes up over the top of you, you just give it up. Or you come back over the top of him if you think he's bluffing.
Well, that is not what James Vogl wants right now. But David Chiu is a player who would do it. No, but he doesn't. He will fold also. So James Vogl will take the hand. David Chiu needed a 6 on the river to win the hand, and as we look up from the hole in our rabbit cam that shows the would-be river card, it's a 9 of spades. David Chiu made the correct decision to fold.
Yeah, when players look to see what their river card would have been, that's called rabbit hunting. Thus, we have the rabbit cam.
David Chiu has made a lot of correct decisions today and saved himself from some all-in calls. And, well, he's going to need to do exactly that right now with a suited ace-jack. He is all in.
Yeah, he is down pretty short at this point. Ace-jack, a great hand to go all in, and we're just 3-handed.
How much?
James Vogl, king 3. And he asked for a call for David Chiu, and a very common thing to hear from James Vogl towards David Chiu today.
I don't know why he wants to know how much. He's got king 3 off suited. I know we're playing 3-handed. It's 91,000. You'd love to take Chiu out, but you'd love to have cards to take your opponent out.
And he will fold. Better to get out of the hand and give David Chiu your chips.
Now pocket 4s for Rice.
I'll call.
And he's going to call the all-in. In short-handed game, pocket 4s are pretty good. And it's a coin flip now to take out the best player here, and both Rice and Vogl would like to see him go.
So once again, David Chiu in danger of being eliminated. Now the flop. 8, 9, and 5. Not good news for Chiu.
No, he's still looking for an ace or a jack to take the lead.
Turn card, a 9 of spades. And now David Chiu could be down to his last card in this no-limit hold'em tournament. And it is a 10 of clubs. No help for David Chiu. The most feared man at this final table will be eliminated in 3rd position.
Thanks, man. You're the best players.
He earns $122,000 in Vogel's respect.
I ain't laying it down. Too many chips. David. Now we're down to the final 2.
There you see tournament director Matt Savage getting ready, the $400,000 top prize. Part of the over $46 million that will be up for grabs during the World Series 33 tournaments when we return. Shawn Rice, James Vogl, and a whole lot of Franklins in a hold'em showdown. Yeah, that much money will make anyone salivate.
Buckle up, boys.
There is the $400,000 in cash. It will go to our first prize winner here at this hold'em table, and of course the bracelet that goes to every World Series champion, stacked neatly between our 2 finalists, James Vogl and Shawn Rice, 2 players who are polar opposites of each other.
I'm a professional.
I'm really not that good.
I was taught by the world's best.
I started about 2 years ago.
Man, it's awesome. Poker's, yeah, it's just really awesome.
To be honest with you, I find poker quite boring.
Poker's where it's at.
But actually, I was going to get a job when I go home, so this was probably going to be my last tournament.
It's a game of skill.
It's not really that skillful.
Poker's a game of who makes the least amount of mistakes.
Sometimes the luck goes with you and sometimes it doesn't.
And it'd be nice to be a World Series champion.
I'm not in it for the glory, I just want the money.
As we go heads up, our Toyota chip count shows Shawn Rice with 955,000, James Vogl 717. And action to Shawn Rice first, and a nice way to come out ace 10.
20,000.
And his bet will be 20,000 over to James Vogl.
Let me tell you the headline right now, Lon. More than 800 players in this tournament, some of the world's best, and this man is still standing, a 24-year-old wearing an orange top. It's just a tremendous performance by him.
And he will call the bet from Rice. You see Rice with the advantage now as we go to the flop is all spades, king, queen, 10.
That is a beautiful looking flop, and they both get a piece of it. Rice has a royal flush draw with his pair of 10s.
I'm all in.
And he likes the royal flush draw. All in. James Vogl with a big decision here.
Oh, yeah, because he's got a good hand. He's got the top pair, plus he has his own straight draw. He is staring at 3 straightening spades and an all-in bet, and he'd have to put all his chips in to call this.
Not worth it, he says. Vogl gives up what is the best hand at the moment, but Rice had the better draw, so perhaps a very smart decision from the young James Vogl. Shawn Rice ups his chip lead, and he wins the first joust in this heads-up battle.
Not a whole lot of damage, though, to James Vogl in that one, so there really should be no lingering effects.
The whole cards of Shawn Rice, 4-4.
And again, heads up, any type of pair you're going to play usually.
30.
30,000, carefully measured out. James Vogl. Couple of 7s in there.
So both of them with little pairs. Vogel's are better.
100.
And he's going to go in for 100,000 chips.
I'm all in.
Wow.
Cool.
Oh, his anguish is obvious. We heard Amarillo Slim say that Shawn likes to run without the ball. And he's running just with a small ball right here, and Vogel's got a larger one.
This is our first pot over $1 million. But it is Vogl who was all in. And so here comes our flop. 8, 10, and 7, and a set of 7s for James Vogl, and Shawn Rice just dropped the ball.
And he's going to have to see a lot of 4s, else James Vogl is going to take control of this heads-up match.
And the 8 on the turn gives Vogl a full house, and he wins this hand and takes a huge swipe out of Rice's chips.
You want to take that back and count them?
Yeah. James Vogl now with 1.3 million chips. Shawn Rice down to his final 275,000.
Rice played fast and loose with those pocket 4s, but you really can't fault him for playing aggressively. He risked a lot of chips, and he ended up paying a big price.
How many have you got? How many chips have you got?
Not near as many as I did.
He just took a big hit, and often you set yourself up to take another big hit in the next few minutes if you're not thinking clearly. So you don't want any effect of the bad hand to hurt you.
30,000.
Vogel's ace-queen worth 30,000 on the bet. Over to a very dejected Shawn Rice. How can he get away from that? King-queen. Wow.
I'm all in.
Cool.
Ugh. I know Shawn wants to play king-queen, but I don't know if you want to risk your entire tournament on king-queen. It just isn't that strong of a hand in this situation.
King in his bad shape.
Yeah, that's right. Vogl a 3-1 favorite now here as we prepare for the flop.
If he loses here, Rice will look back at these last 2 hands thinking would've, could've, should've, or actually shouldn't have.
Now the flop. 9, 8, and 4. Rice looking for a king.
Rice with a terminal look on his face. He looks like a man who thinks it's not going to come.
Turn card. 8 of spades, not there yet.
And now he needs a king that's not a spade, because a spade gives Vogl a flush.
And the win. And now here comes the river card. It's a 10 of spades. James Vogl has his flush, and he wins our first event of this 2004 World Series of Poker. Shawn Rice proves to be a very worthy adversary.
I've never been so disappointed to win 200,000 in my life, but it's nice. It's nice. It doesn't suck for sure.
In the first World Series event since Chris Moneymaker shocked the poker world, 24-year-old rookie James Vogl of Britain does it again.
Stick him in. I don't think I'm good enough to be a world champion. It's just happened all quickly.
2 years ago, he was a backgammon player. Now he sits amongst the legends of the game.
With those cards, I think my mother could have won this tournament in about an hour and a half.
The legacy of Moneymaker continues.
I don't think my dad would be too impressed because he wants me to go and get a job.
James Vogl, the first winner of the 2004 World Series of Poker.
I don't really want to hold it up. It's a bit vulgar, you know. I'm British. I'm a bit understated.